I'm in kind of a predicament. So I know not many of you like the AU Falcon, the off-road AU Falcon, but this video needs to happen. So a couple of days ago, I put the off-road Falcon up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and oh my days, I can't believe how many people are actually interested in that thing. I get it, on photos and videos the thing does look like an absolute weapon, but in reality, as you'll see in this video, that thing is a danger to society. After everything I put that thing through, I can't sell it in the state it is now. So in this video, I want to fix up a couple of things, improve a couple of things. I have some cool ideas I'm really excited for. Just pretty much get the car ready for its new owner, for them to enjoy it as much as I did. So let's step outside and I'll tell you what I'm on about. So ultimately, the money I make on the Ford will go directly into the new project, which is the Maserati Benz, to finally get started on that and get things going. I have been gathering up some new parts. Wow! Damn! Stay tuned for that. But back to the Ford. So yesterday I wanted to sort out one big issue with this thing, and that is the way it drove. So it was very swervy on the road, and yeah, so the tires also didn't last very long, and it turned out to be a 5 centimeter or 50 millimeter toe in the car had. So the wheels were like looking at each other, and yeah, not a good thing. So yesterday I quickly fixed that. Didn't take me more than 30 minutes to sort that out. Never done something like that before, but it's pretty easy. So now that's sorted and the car should drive a lot better. I also made this little off-road bumper with the spotlights and everything on it, but I do have the old bumper that I will sell with the car. Has 50 millimeter aluminium spacers that are worth more than the whole car. Got that on there to fit those wheels, and then I might want to change up the exhaust just a little bit. This thing is insanely loud, but I think that dual tail piece, it just has a weird sound to it, so maybe I'll just block off the one or something. Still deciding on what I want to do there, but let's first get into the big work. Oh, almost forgot. Actually has a full functioning snorkel as well that I made. So yeah, that's a pretty cool touch. That's gonna have to stay because there's a giant hole in the fender over there. But yes, moving on to the back, and here is where the real work is gonna start. So I already went ahead, got that wheel removed, got the car in the air, got the coil spring out, because this is the janky way I lifted the car. So I did that to keep the tire away from the fender, but didn't work out too good. I already lost one tire, so the fender cut into the tire. The car has been through a lot, but anyway, so we're gonna be building a proper or a much better lift kit for the car. And then one last thing I want to do is the brake calipers. I just removed them, but they are still just hanging around over there. We don't need the rear brakes, so I'm just gonna block them off, get them off, and then we'll get started on the lift kit. So the first step was cutting and cleaning 8 plates that we'll need to get started on the lift kit. After that, I also cut a couple of 76mm tubes at a length of 80mm and another 2 at 30mm. And with that, we had all the main parts needed to start figuring this out. Next up was taking 2 of the plates, welding them together, and then drilling them out. This will be the new mounting point for the shock inside the car. This plate that I made will replace this old mounting point for the shock, and then we have the little hole over there for this rubber that fits in there and keeps the shock in place. Just like that. And then because we moved the shock mounting point down by 80mm, we also obviously have to do the same with the coil spring. Otherwise the shock might bottom out way before it should. Now this is the tricky part, because number one, the mounting point for the shock and the mounting point for the coil are at different levels, so we just have to keep that in mind. Also, whatever I bolt for the coil spring, I need to remember that the shock absorber needs to move around freely in there. Honestly, it took me a hot minute to figure this out, but another cool thing about my design is that it will be straight bolt on. So one day when you want to remove it, you can just unbolt everything and change it back to normal. But here's what I figured out. So we'll get started with this plate. So that will just keep the coil spring where it needs to be. Then we needed something for the shock to go through. Now I don't have a 76mm steel hole saw, so the way I made these, well, here's how I did it. Pretty sketchy stuff, I fully agree with you. But anyway, now we have a piece for the shock to go through, and then the shock can still move through the hole. Then we'll add the 80mm tube, because we move the shock 80mm, we have to move the coil 80mm as well. And then another plate with a hole inside that took me an hour to make. Just like that. All this will be under the car, and then we have the shock plate that'll go inside the car, so that'll go in there, and then the body of the car will go between these, and they will bolt together, squeezing everything together. In theory it should work, but I mean, who knows. But I got this piece stack welded together. I will beef it up once I am sure this is going to work. And then also on the top mount for the shock, I'll also add this little piece just to make that thin plate, even though I do have 2 together, just to make it a bit stronger. But let's quickly throw this on the car and move the diff up and down and see if the shock moves freely, and then we can start welding everything up. This might actually just work, but we still have a long ways to go, so let's keep going. Okay, so I definitely underestimated how long this will take, so unfortunately that's how far I'm gonna get for this week's video. At least we sorted out that steering, and then we also got the brakes done, the rear brakes, so that's done. And then most of the work on these spacers, or whatever you want to call it, is also done. But beefing them up to withstand some abuse is going to take some more time, so I decided to make a part 2 of lifting the AU Falcon. And then another reason is I got the AU Falcon moved from over there to over here, and that seems to be the end of it, because ever since then I could not get it to fire up again. I'm hoping it's just a loose connection or something. I have no idea, so tune in next week to see what we can figure out on that. If you are one of the people that asked on Facebook Marketplace, is the car still available? Yes, it's still available, but just give me a second to figure things out. I do want the next person to enjoy it, start it up, and just go have some fun with it. With that, feel free to share this video with family and friends. I do want the next person that buys the car to know exactly how sketchy it is, but I did have some really great times in the car, so hopefully the next person can enjoy it as well. Honestly, I don't really want to sell the car, but like I said, that'll help out the new project to get started on that. But I have so many cool ideas that I still wanted to try with the AU Falcon. But I guess nobody knows what the future holds. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and then I'll see you next Sunday at 6 a.m.